With the image of Zeus, we can see Aeschylus's own influence in his play. Aeschylus, who lived in the democracy of Cleisthenes in Athens 508. Perhaps this is why Zeus is portrayed as an unjust tyrant. However, it is debated that Prometheus Bound was not, in fact, written by Aeschylus. Aristotle's own comment on tragic chorus regards the group as a collective actor, sharing in the action and adding practical element of theater. Treatment of the chorus as an actor of its own goal and motive within the tragedy, communicating meaning through song and dance. The chorus alienates the audience from the play, giving them time to ponder and think over the previous scene and speculate the next. With the body being the most immediate and direct mode of communication, the chorus exists on a physical plane to reach the attention of the audience away from the fantasy of the tragedy back to reality. Greek drama honors Dionysus. Dionysus, who can be described as enthusiasm, the god within us. He represents the power there is in man, rising within him and propels him into joy. The chorus rises in song and dance to honor Dionysus.
When reading Prometheus Bound, I tried looking at it from both a literary perspective and a cultural perspective, because these help bring out the purpose of the chorus's role as a whole. The chorus, in a literary sense, has a flowing, rhythmic, and dancing nature to it, adding to the femininity of the Daughters of Ocean. Starting at line 222 of the Parados, the chorus says, "His rules are new, they're raw, he rules beyond the law. Giant things that used to be, he wipes out completely." The rhyming in this passage helps augment the flowing, poetic feeling of Aeschylus' style and helps draw out the chorus's real intentions, which is to say, the need for things to return to how they once were, all the while maintaining a sympathetic attitude towards Prometheus. From a cultural perspective, the chorus in the Parados, first ode and second ode, serves as a character that sympathizes with Prometheus and seems to act almost as a motherly figure while voicing their want for Prometheus and the old gods to be back in power. The Daughters of Ocean, in this case, act to help Prometheus through his punishment. The motherly figure of a woman is also seen in ancient Greek religion. We see gods like Zeus and Poseidon as the destructive forces of nature, but there are goddesses like Hestia, goddess of the hearth, and Demeter, goddess of the harvest, who aid the Greek people by giving them food for the year and warmth in their houses. Biologically, women have been programmed by evolution to be more aware of another's feelings, making them a more caring figure. This is why many women, more often than men, are more sensitive towards the sound of a crying baby or child and are usually tenderer in dealing with them. It's this quality that pops out at you the most, and you can miss the underlying reasoning behind the chorus's appearance in this play. Typically, people tend to look at the chorus as a means to narrate or fill in the blanks, and it's easy to overlook the fact that sometimes the chorus might have their own motives for things, such as is seen in Prometheus Bound.
When it came to visualizing and designing the look of our version of Prometheus Bound, we decided to go with the traditional classic Greek stylings, mainly because I wanted to see how far we could push the limits of doing the normal Greek stylings and maybe see if we could throw in a splash of more modern stylings and maybe look at our versions of togas versus the historical versions of togas. For the chorus, I immediately started looking at the classic draping of the toga. In Kirk's photos, the dresses that the chorus wears are very pretty and fairly Greek-inspired, but they weren't very form-fitting, and while they seem to be very flowy, a lot of body movement could potentially be lost. So I wanted to design something that was flowy and would move fluidly, but will be able to capture the movement of the body. And the colors would be very similar to nature, like you would expect a nymph to wear, to really capture that these women were not human. I also wanted it to be versatile, to be able to change easily on and off stage to show the ever-changing aspect of the chorus, because these women aren't human. They are the daughters of gods. Luckily, I already had in my possession something that we called a goddess wrap, which came in handy for this project. It's a fair trade item that's made from recycled saris, and it's got 2 full layers of cloth, so you can change it really easily. And it translated very much into the idea to have the fabrics changing to give the illusion that they were not human fabrics. While researching for Prometheus's costume, I really saw a wide variety. In Kirk's rendition, Prometheus was a young man, and again, I did see some older Prometheuses portrayed. And one thing that really stuck out to me was there's a production that was recently done called Prometheus Bound the Musical, and they put Prometheus in these jeans, and just his silhouette was very streamlined, and I really liked that so I kind of mixed the two together, the baggy flowy and the streamline, and I wanted to make these angular lines because Prometheus is an old titan. He's an old god. He's before the flow that you see in a lot of the shapes for togas. So I put him in tights and a draping over that was made very angular. And I wanted Prometheus to be seen as old. I know that gods and titans are perceived as immortal, but I wanted Prometheus to look old because it shows that he's losing the will to make himself appear young. So I wanted him to look like a man who had been beaten down and was trying to remember happier days before he faced all of this torture. Another thing that I really wanted was his shackle. They sort of look like they're infecting him, almost like they're just draining his life away. And it sort of played very well with our designs with the set, and it was a good contrast to the chorus members.
For the chorus themselves, I pictured a group of people dancing to one speaker talking, and they were all facing towards the audience. No one at any particular point will actually be facing towards Prometheus.
Because when we got together, we thought it would be cool if Prometheus would be standing above, not really looking face to face, just to show how disconnected they were.
Yeah, exactly. And how much how different he was from them, and how untouchable and unreachable he was.
Which was interesting because we didn't really communicate that until, but we just assumed the other knew it, which was kind of funny.
Yeah.
So
that's how it was going to be. Yeah.
I guess it's just one of those, great minds think alike, right?
Yeah. The daughters of Oceanus dislike Zeus for his harsh punishment, yet they know Prometheus is stuck with his fate, having almost no options of escape from his prison. The chorus is clearly upset and perturbed at this point in the play. They are a little fatigued because of the long journey, so the background dancers' movements are slower and more drawn out. They went against their father's orders and flew to see Prometheus. The speaker sings with a sense of needing to help Prometheus. Overall, the chorus should appear desperate, a constant flow in their words and motions, mimicking the ocean. There is such deep sorrow for Prometheus. Everyone mourns for his pain. The dance to this ode should be very slow and somber. When referring to the warriors weeping, the dance should appear more aggressive to imitate the warriors themselves. The speech should be solemn, a dark voice for the hopeless plight of Prometheus. The chorus wishes never to anger Zeus as Prometheus has, and they realize the importance of living. The dance here is a lot more structured. There is less needing and wanting and more understanding in the movements. They wish to live the right way, to honor Zeus, knowing that is the only way to be successful. The speech should be portrayed as a kind of acceptance and thankfulness of their life, rather than focusing so much on Prometheus. At certain points, the speaker should say the lines in a sharper, admonishing tone, for they judge Prometheus for helping humans, people who could not help him in return. They feel bad for him, yet see the foolishness in his actions of going against Zeus for lesser beings.
Prometheus, your savage fate has made me cry. My cheeks are wet with tears welling from my delicate eyes as river water or the falling dew. It's horrible. Zeus dictates with laws he made himself. He bears the spear point of his pride over the gods that used to be. The whole earth now howls with grief. Everything mourns, the bold, emblazoned, glowing, ancient glory that used to be yours and your families before this grief. And those peoples who have set their roots in the plains near Asia's holy ground, they feel your howling pain. As do the girls of Colchis, who never tremble in battle, and too the Scythian horde, camped by Lake Myotis, where earth comes to an end. And to the flower of Arabia, the wild warriors who guard the steep Acropolis of Caucasus, a thunderhead bristling with spears. The only other Titan I have seen so trapped, so infinitely abused, was Atlas, God Atlas. His awful strength he mourns with his back. The waves break, the surf moans, the depths sound and sound, the black, bottomless deep hollows back, and the pure springs of rivers and brooks, all for you, sorrow.